Hey everyone, Bobby here. I hope you are doing well. Welcome to another episode of SEO Secrets. Today I am super excited to dive into the topic of outbound links. Now this is interesting. I was contacted by a content marketing agency from New York City last week, and they are working on a piece, an article for a large corporate client of theirs. Unfortunately, I don't have permission to share their client's name, but trust me, if I shared the name, you would know them immediately. But anyway, they reached out to me last week because, as crazy as it is, I wrote an article all the way back in 2012. And the article is titled Outbound Linking, the Secret Sauce to Trust and Authority for Top Rankings in Google. Well, anyway, this content marketing agency found this article that I wrote back in 2012, and they reached out to me and they sent me 4 questions regarding outbound links and asked if I would send them my comments and my thoughts on those 4 questions. And they would, I guess they'll look at it, and if they decide to use any of my responses, then they will include it in their article. They'll give us a link, things of that nature. But anyway, I thought what I would do in this episode is I would just kind of go through these 4 questions that they sent and my responses to each. And I think it gives a pretty good, at least the start of an overview on the power and the relevance of outbound links. I think it's a really important topic. I obviously was thinking about this, and it's crazy to think, over 7 years ago, I was thinking about this topic, and I think it's still just as relevant today as it was then, and I'm excited to dive into it. So I also want to let you know I did link up this article, and I did it specifically for this podcast episode. I put this article, a link to it, on the homepage of Bipper Media, which is our agency website. So you can go to bippermedia.com. That's B as in boy, I as in India, P as in Papa, ER media.com. So BIPPER media.com. And look on the top of the homepage. You'll see where I have featured article from our blog and outbound linking. I just linked to that article, so you can find it from our homepage. And again, I did that just for this episode, so you'd have easy access to it. Put it right at the top of the homepage. So anyway, I'm going to go through these 4 questions that they asked me, and hopefully this will be valuable to you on this topic of outbound links. And of course, I'm going to share this on our SEO Secrets Facebook group. So go to Facebook, search SEO Secrets, join our group if you haven't yet, and we can dive into a conversation there. So, all right, here we go. So the first question was, what are outbound links? That was a pretty simple, straightforward question. My response was, outbound links are links from within content that take you to another website or a resource. And outbound links are typically added to content as a way to either reference a source that was used in the research of the content, or as a way to link out to a complementary piece of content that's published on the web. So pretty straightforward question and answer. I think we all know what outbound links are and why they're used. What I didn't mention here or in the response was regarding Wikipedia. I've always used Wikipedia as kind of a place where I learned a lot of SEO tactics and strategies and theories, and you can go to any Wikipedia article. I like to reference the Abraham Lincoln article on Wikipedia, but I mention that because you will see a very large scale of outbound linking happening from pretty much any Wikipedia page, but especially the very long, in-depth ones like the Abraham Lincoln page on Wikipedia. Just massive amounts of outbound linking that's happening there. So go to the Abraham Lincoln page on Wikipedia and check out just the scale and magnitude of outbound linking that's happening. And we all know how well Wikipedia does in search. Of course, it's not everything. It's not the one single factor that's influencing their rankings, but it is, I believe, certainly a contributing factor is the volume of outbound linking that they're doing. So anyway, so that's what that was my response to what are outbound links. The next question is, why are outbound links important? So I said that outbound links bring balance and authenticity to the overall SEO health of a page. So if you think about the highest quality articles that are submitted for professional reviews, like with professors at universities, for example, they will always reference their sources, which are ironically called citations. Well, outbound links achieve the same level of authority when you reference sources that are used in the creation of your content. And this is achieved, this referencing of or sources that you're using, this is achieved with outbound links. On a macro level, using outbound links consistently throughout all of the content on your site, this will increase the overall quality of your entire website. And this ultimately contributes to unlocking more domain authority, or the SEO authority, for rankings, traffic, and exposure to all of your content. So by outbound linking from a particular page, it kind of unlocks the domain authority or the page authority of that page. But when you do that consistently across all the pages of your content, it helps to unlock that domain authority of your entire website. Okay, I think this question was my favorite question that they sent me. What is the biggest outbound linking mistake that I've seen? Okay, so the biggest mistake that I see website owners and companies make is to no follow their outbound links. Okay, so no following a link means that you are preventing any page equity or link juice from passing to the source you are linking to, right? You're basically blocking or shutting off the ability of your website to pass link or link equity to the source you're linking to. And in my view, this is an error in the understanding of the attributes and the characteristics of high quality content and ultimately a high quality website. So when you no follow outbound links, you are creating a very heavy, in my opinion, you're creating a very heavy one-sided spectrum of the authority that leans 100% in the direction of your website and your content. So in essence, it's the equivalent of not adding any outbound links from your content to outside sources. So visitors will be able to click and leave your site and go visit the sites you're linking to. But if you no follow those links, when Google crawls and indexes your entire page of content, if you're no following those links, if you're no following those links, it's as if those links don't exist. And again, if you have no referenced sources within your content, then the content in your website as a whole, I believe, is seen as less authoritative. Okay. On the other hand, by providing do follow outbound links, I believe that it brings more balance and authenticity and symmetry to the authority of your website, which ultimately increases the value of your content and your website. And again, the more quality you build into your pages of content, the more you unlock the domain authority and the page authority, which ultimately translates into more SEO authority that your pages and your website carry. Okay. Next question. How many outbound links should a page contain? this is a pretty tough question. It was a challenging question for me to answer, mostly because there is no hard, fast rule on how many outbound links. Again, if you look at the Abraham Lincoln page on Wikipedia, you will see, I mean, it's almost like for any given sentence, there's 2 or 3 outbound links. I mean, it's just crazy the amount of outbound links that's happening there. But anyway, I did give a general rule of thumb, and here's what I said. So at a maximum, I would include at least 1 outbound link for every 1 to 2 paragraphs of content. Okay, and I think what I meant to say was at a minimum. At a minimum, I would include at least 1 outbound link for every 1 to 2 paragraphs of content. So if your piece of content has 5 paragraphs total, you would shoot for, or you wouldn't shoot for more than 10 outbound links. Okay, so I actually did mean to say at a maximum, you would include 1 outbound link for every 1 to 2 paragraphs. So if you have a 5-paragraph piece of content, you on average would want to shoot for around 10 outbound links total. Now, that might sound like a lot of outbound links to some of you, which I completely understand for normal blog posts, normal small local business type business use. You're not going to be producing an awful lot of outbound links. But again, if you reference a Wikipedia page, you'll see it happening at a very large scale. And I went on to say that this can vary greatly depending on the topic and the purpose of the content. And I actually referenced Wikipedia, where they have literally hundreds of outbound links to external resources, and especially in their more in-depth articles. But as a general rule of thumb to start with, I would say that to make it a goal to not to exceed 1 outbound link for every 1 to 2 paragraphs of content. And again, this is a general rule of thumb, and it's not a hard, fast rule. But I went on to elaborate on another type of outbound link to consider, which is what is typically referred to as an internal link. Okay, so an internal link is an outbound link that's coming from the content of a page in your website, but it's linking to another page within the same website. Okay, in this internal linking structure within a website, it can be a powerful way to reinforce what I refer to as top-tier pages and contributing to the overall building of SEO authority for your website. When you create internal links that are used strategically to reinforce top-tier pages, like a main product or a main service page within your website, this is typically referred to as a silo structure. Okay, silo structures within websites. I'll do another episode on silo structures, but silo structures are a powerful way to. It's sort of like shaping and directing the flow of equity from main target pages down to subtopic or subcategory or subordinate pages, but then also leveraging those subordinate pages to link up to your top tier pages. Again, this is typically referred to as a silo structure. It's a very powerful way to channel authority both from top tier pages down to secondary pages, but even more importantly, leveraging secondary pages to link up to your top tier pages. And it helps to reinforce and unlock the page authority and the ranking power within those top tier pages. This structure leverages secondary content pages to link. I just explained that by reinforcing the authority of the topic of that top tier page. Again, silo structures, it's a really powerful SEO strategy, and it also is relevant to the topic of outbound linking because you are technically linking out from a page of content, but in the silo structure strategy, you're linking out from one page, but linking to another page from within your website. Okay. And again, I'll do another episode on silo structures. It's a super powerful SEO strategy for optimizing your website. So those were the 4 questions that this agency sent to me. Again, what are outbound links? Why are outbound links important? What's the biggest outbound linking mistake that I've seen? And how many outbound links should a page contain? So those were the answers that I sent back to this agency. And if they use some of our content and they link to us, that would be awesome, because that'd be a huge link, because their client again is a very large corporate client, and it would be awesome to have a mention from their blog. So anyway, again, I'll be sharing this episode on the SEO Secrets Facebook page. I've also linked this up on the homepage of bippermedia.com. You can go to the homepage and you'll see where I put featured article from our blog, Outbound Linking. Click that link. You'll be able to read the article. At the top of that article, I put my responses to the questions I received, and then underneath that, you'll be able to see what I wrote back in 2012. And it's crazy to think that it was 7 years ago that I wrote this article on outbound linking. But anyway, so that's all I got for now on outbound linking. Thank you again for listening to SEO Secrets, and I hope this episode was helpful, and we will talk to you.